どうも皆さん、一日一問、英語で数学、瀬戸です。今日の一問は、この積分をしたいと思います。今日使う英単語はこちらです。So to find the antiderivative of secant, we will do it in two ways. So we will multiply secant of x by 1 in a very nice way. We will multiply by secant plus tangent. Now if we multiply this in, the numerator will be secant squared plus secant times tangent. And the denominator is secant x plus tangent x. Now if we do a substitution, let's say u equal to the denominator, the derivative will be the derivative of secant is secant x tangent x. The derivative of tangent is secant squared. So that's exactly the numerator. So we can transform this integral into the integral du over u. And so we have that the integral is natural log of u plus c. By substituting this back into here, we get the antiderivative of secant is natural log secant plus tangent plus some constant. Now thinking of this first step is a little tricky, so let's do another way to compute the antiderivative of secant. The alternative way is to write this out as cosine. Now it would be nice if there was a sine term so that we can do substitution, and to generate such a term we can multiply cosine to both sides. And this is nice because we can rewrite cosine squared as 1 minus sine squared. Now using the substitution, u equals to sine of x and du equals cosine of x dx. We can change this integral into this integral, du over 1 minus u squared. And now we can split this up, and using this decomposition, that 1 over 1 minus u times 1 plus u is 1 half of 1 over 1 minus u plus 1 half of 1 over 1 plus u. We get something like this. Now we integrate and we plug the substitution back in and we obtain an antiderivative. Now this looks quite different from the antiderivative that we got using secant. So let's see why this and the other expression are the same. We'll need to use some properties of the logarithm, namely that the addition of natural logs becomes multiplication in the argument, the subtraction becomes division in the argument, and the multiplication becomes exponentiation. So if we apply these to this, first we'll get something like this. Now we can multiply by 1 plus sine x, so that we have 1 plus sine of x squared and 1 minus sine squared. But we can replace this with cosine squared, and then move this 1 half to the exponent so that these will go away. So we're left with this expression, and now if we split the fraction, we get natural log of 1 over cosine plus sine x over cosine x, which is exactly the expression that we saw earlier. Thank you very much, and please subscribe.